So, welcome everybody on tonight's broadcast. I'm the Executive Vice President of Marketing and Sales, Nic Engström, and tonight we have a special guest. We have the CEO of the team that has developed Tagachi. We have Mr. Ken Anderson here on today's broadcast. How are you doing, Ken?
I'm doing great. Hey, thanks for having me, Nick. I'm super excited about working with eXfuze, and we had a great launch this last weekend with the new Tagachi app. And again, thanks for having me on tonight.
Fantastic. So, the purpose of today's broadcast is we want to learn a little bit more about Tagachi, what it is, and how will Tagachi benefit our eXfuze distributors. So that is what we're going to talk about today. Now, before we get started, Ken, what do I do if I want to download the app? I want to get started. Where do I go?
Yeah, so right now it's available in the back office. When you go to your back office as an eXfuze distributor, we've worked with the corporate IT to make sure that there was a nice, big, fancy looking banner. When you log in, you'll see the banner, you click on it, and it'll have an option for you to purchase it. And as soon as you buy it there, our system will send you an email. I guess that's really the trick right now is just make sure that the email that you're going to receive the invitation on is the same email that's in your back office. So I guess you want to make sure that your email is correct when you purchase it, and then when you do that, we'll send you an email with a link to download the app, and you log in with your same back office credentials, and you're off to the races.
Fantastic. That will be so exciting. So, why don't we just start? I'll shoot away the first question. So, tell us a little bit about the word Tagachi. What does it mean? Where did it come from? Does it have a meaning?
Yeah, that's a great question. We really spent a lot of time focusing on it and making sure that the name Tagachi had meaning for our users. Specifically in this industry, we wanted to make sure that it was specifically valuable to eXfuze as a multi-level marketing company, as a network marketing company, to make sure that we embodied some of those principles. The primary principle we're trying to focus on here is the idea of working as a team. And that's what Tagachi is about. The word Tagachi itself is actually Korean for all together. So like if somebody says, hey, you built your business, did you do that by yourself? And you're like, no, we did this all together. As a team, we did it all together. And so that's what we're trying to really embody with this app is the concept of doing everything together, togetherness, kind of that team cooperation concept.
That is fantastic. And as you know, that is a value that's very true and very dear and very close to the heart of eXfuze is working together, being a team, being united, and really working in one direction. So that is fantastic. So let's say I'm taking a look at Tagachi now for the first time. I want to get an overview. So could you just run us quickly through the modules or the different features in Tagachi? And then we can maybe look at how will each one of these features now benefit me as a distributor in my daily tasks and activities and building my business and sharing the message and sharing the products and so forth.
Absolutely. So just to keep this foremost in your mind that we are building this thing and it's going to evolve. We're adding features every month that are just going to keep getting cooler and cooler. What we're doing is we're doing what's called an iterative approach. We're building one feature at a time based on the feedback we're getting from the users. So as the users use the app, we're using analytics and science to determine what's the most effective and beneficial for the distributors at eXfuze to make sure that we're maximizing the value. So right now we have a number of core features, and why don't we just go ahead and hop into the app and take a look at it real quick? Is that all right?
All right, let's do it. Excellent.
Perfect.
Let's get started.
So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the app right now on my phone. And when we jump right in, the first thing I'm looking at is what we call progress. And this is the component in the app that really focuses on my rank progression. This is something that every distributor, as far as I can tell, is really excited about. A lot of the feedback we've gotten is just how cool this feature is. Right now I can look at it and see what my current pay rank is, and that's basically what my rank is as of the last close of business, the last time I got paid. I've also got something called a qualified paid rank, which is basically what I'm at right now. Assuming nothing else changes between now and the next close of business, this will be my next week's pay rank. So this is basically my focus on what I need to do to get to the next rank. Now down below, you can see that I've got some stats here. I can see all the different ranks that are in eXfuze and how do I get to those. So the value of this, at least from my perspective, is the ability to plan for the future. I can see what are the specific things I need to do to hit, say, Pro 700 or bronze, or maybe my goal is to hit platinum or jade. I can see very specifically what are the activities I need to do. And you can see with this particular user, they've got one 300 PGV leg. They need 3 more of those, a whole bunch of personal volume, a whole bunch of lesser leg BV, and some 2-week look back. So they've got some work to do to hit jade, but it's just very cool to be able to see what I need to do next. I know you've had some discussions. What's some of the feedback you've been getting from some of the users with regard to progress?
Well, I think this is a fantastic piece to start with. I mean, really, it's all about knowing where am I right now and where do I need to go and how do I get there, right? So, I mean, that's how ultimately how progress is always made and measured. And so, the feedback that we've been getting is they love it. They love seeing not just where they are, but really what you've built here, where you can see, okay, what is my next step? What are the necessary activities now for me to get to that next step? Those things can sometimes be very confusing because there's a lot of things that we're looking at, we're monitoring, we're measuring. But in this app, I mean, the feedback that we're getting at now at a glance, I can just see what exactly do I need to do. Am I missing any personal volume? Are there some legs I need to build? Is there some volume I need to really help motivate? Maybe I need to go down to this team here and really now motivate them and build with them and mentor and coach them so that it all comes together in a great way. So we're getting tremendous feedback on this, and I just love the fact, the addition here that you have, that the next business close, the countdown clock with the 5 days, 7 hours, 38 minutes. I mean, this just gives me at a glance just an overview of exactly what do I have to work with, what do I need to do, and how do I get there. So this is fantastic.
Yeah,
Very
and
well
that's a
done.
lot. That's a lot of the feedback we've been getting. And I'll tell you, one of the most exciting things is when we hear people go, "Yeah, I was shooting for this next rank, but then I looked up 3 ranks and realized there really wasn't much for me to do to go up 3 ranks. Like I really just needed to do like 1,000 more BV, and I was there."
Exactly.
So it's interesting to see some people look at it and they think, "Oh, I'm shooting for this next rank," but really there's not much more incrementally I need to do to jump up 3 ranks.
And that, as you know, creates so much enthusiasm. I mean, really, when you progress as you're ranking up, going from rank to the next rank, I mean, it's exciting to you. It's exciting for your downline, for your team, the upline. I mean, it really, this is again, like you said, the word Tagachi, meaning all together. This is really just where everything comes together and everybody can grow together and do it as a team. So this is it just encompasses those values that you talked about earlier. So fantastic.
Perfect, perfect. Well, and so this is the first thing that you see when you log into Tagachi. And we did this on purpose. We wanted people to see where they were and what they needed to do to get to the next level. And this is really about managing yourself. And so we'll go to the next feature we have, which if I open up the navigation and look at the prospect section. So again, this is also managing yourself and your activities. The whole point of this is to help me understand what follow-ups I need to do when I come to this screen to close new business or to bring on new distributors if that may be the case. But this is where I can really focus on all of those prospecting activities. I'm not going to get too much into this because I have a whole video about this. As a matter of fact, I've got a video I want to share a little bit later tonight that will go through a brand new distributor using Tagachi to start their business with eXfuze. But the one thing I do want to call out here is just this focus list number. So right there, it looks like it's just a stat at the top of the page. But if I click the little icon with the people in the very top right-hand corner, this is that focus list. And that focus list, this is that list you build when you start up as a distributor. This is the one you build off of. These are the people that you're focusing on. These are the people, anytime you start up in an MLM, they'll say, write down 100 names of people that would be
Right.
interested in the opportunity or the product. And that's what
Exactly.
you're
Here's your
working off
pen
of.
and paper, and then write down minimum 100 names so they have a lot of people to contact, right? So this is that portion.
Yeah, absolutely. And the cool thing is we're integrated with your phone. We're integrated with Twitter. So we're pulling your contacts from your device and from Twitter. So now you're basically, where historically you had to go through a rigorous exercise, right, to build that list. Some
Right.
companies would even give you like multiple pages of kind of brain activities to get those juices flowing so you could start thinking of these names. And basically what we're saying is, most people on Twitter or in their phone have hundreds of people already. like, let's just go through those lists and just figure out who to focus on first.
Fantastic. And you know what? I do remember those questions years ago, and even currently. I mean, it's like, think of somebody you went to kindergarten with, and your neighbors, aunts, uncles, cousin, and it really, I mean, they really try to make you really think extremely hard about where to go. So, I mean, what you're saying is, here I can just plug in, and it'll just integrate. It'll just bring in all that information together, and then I have it, right? And
Correct.
some people, I mean, you said hundreds, but I'm thinking some people even have over 1,000 people here.
Absolutely. Yeah, we tap into your extended network, and I'll tell you right now, we have one user on the app that has 4,730 contacts that they imported
Wow.
when they first started up on the app. I think it was on Monday. So they were one of the first people to download the app and use it with eXfuze, and we were just watching the numbers, just wondering how everybody was using it, and we saw somebody hop into their focus list, and 4,730 users later, we were like, holy cow, that person has a lot of contacts.
They're ready to go. I guess they're very serious. They're ready to go. They're very connected and highly motivated. So now they're getting the tools to just get going, right?
Absolutely. So building a list of 100 should not be very hard for people with the way that it's integrated with their phone and Twitter. It really shouldn't be.
Well, you have
Historically, it
just
was.
completely reframed that number, because I mean, 100 used to be quite a stretch where you, as you said, that's 100. I mean, that's, you had pages of things to jolt your memory. Now it's like, oh, it's just 100. So that's really cool. Very cool.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of cool things about this. I mean, I'm not going to go too much more into focus lists. Just know that we're working with eXfuze to make sure that we've got correct messaging built in here. So when I go to the details screen of a contact that I'm working with that's in my focus list, and I say, you know what, I want to send them an SMS, and I click the little SMS button, we've got a number of messages that have been pre-provided by eXfuze, including some cool new videos. Just as a point here, a lot of eXfuze members have asked about this particular feature, is being able to see when somebody clicks on a link that you sent them. We are actually incorporating that, and that's coming out in the next release. But again, this is going to be an evolving project. We're going to be having new features coming out based on the feedback and analytics. But this is just exciting immediately. If I go in and start importing contacts, I don't even have to start thinking about what message I'm going to send them. I just import them into my list of 100 and just start sending them some of these predefined messages that, by the way, are actually, if you look at some of them, they're fairly well messaged. I mean, this is the Suma Cafe video that we talked about. So this is obviously assuming that we'd given them a call and we talked about it, and I wanted to show them this video. So we can use this in a number of different scenarios, and it just makes it so much easier for us to go through, customize it, send them a message, and then follow up with it and make sure that it was sent, and then give them a call. And by the way, it's going to create a follow-up in my list here to be able to go through and make sure that I'm keeping track of all the people I'm working with. I mean, we can all disagree about what processes are right and wrong, but we can all agree that it's important to stay organized. And what we're trying to do is get out of your way, let you use whatever processes you want, but we're going to try to give you as many tools as we can to make this prospecting activity simple.
That's fantastic. And I just love the way that you've just, like we just saw there very quickly. I mean, there's different ways of contacting people. You can either send it through SMS, text message, or email. I love the fact that it even gives you like a short little feedback, like congratulations, you did this. I mean, anything to just keep, people on the right track, keep them motivated, keep them excited. And then most and foremost, it's amazing that I can now measure, again, keeping everything so measurable. I can see the numbers, the definitions, and to your point, 100% in agreement. Everybody has different systems, everybody has different ways of doing things, but I think everybody can agree upon one thing, and that is staying organized is key. So that is fantastic.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is going to get so much better. We have some amazing things on the horizon. So um, we're just really excited about how this is evolving right now with working with eXfuze and making sure that we're building what's going to make distributors successful. Already, we've seen a number of people showing some success in it and using it to send messages and follow up with people. So it's just really exciting to see how the family of eXfuze is really taking on the spirit of Tagachi, of that all-togetherness, and working with each other and working with their teams to make themselves successful. And the app is being part of that tool set. It's just very exciting for that. Speaking of
Fantastic.
which,
Yes.
the last feature that I just want to go over quickly
Yes.
is this team component. So this again is kind of along the lines of what Tagachi is all about. So I said earlier, the first two features, major features, are about managing yourself, and this one's really about managing your team. And so this module is called Team, and when you look at it, you can see how many people are in the focus list of your direct downline, how many tasks have been completed today that are in your direct downline, how many messages are outstanding right now in your downline. So you can tell how active your direct downline is right now. And I can go and click on any one of these people and see how they're doing. And really what we designed this to be is a coaching mechanism. There's a lot of distributors that are coming on board and they just aren't sure what to do next. And this is a way for a sponsor to take on that coaching role and it's not about micromanaging them. It's more about going, okay, you told me that your goal was to make $500 extra a month. I'm looking at your activities and you're doing the activities that I would expect you to get the results of $500 a month. So good job. Or maybe we might need to tweak some of this so that you can reach that goal. Right now, the activities that you're doing are closer to being on par with maybe $100 or $200 a month amounts of activities. And so it just gives you that ability to coach them without really being intrusive and without creating that culture of distrust. If we make sure that dialogue is of a coaching nature, this tool becomes super valuable.
This is, you know what, and you just said it earlier. I mean, the key really is, I mean, we do have this relationship between distributor and sponsor by definition is the person who's now supposed to help you, support you, and really sponsor you and guide you in your process. And I love the way that you've designed this and put this together, because now the sponsor can truly be that coach for their people, for his or her people, and really just, I mean, there's no two more powerful words or one word in the English language when you're building teams and saying, hey, I've seen that, you know, this is what you wanted to, like you said, these are the goals you set out to go and do and accomplish, and this is where you're at, and then the keyword, let's. Hey, let's get on the phone together and let's make some phone call. Let's get together and do a meeting. Hey, let's do this. So it really, I love it how it really allows now the sponsor to get in touch with their team, with their key people, and say, hey, let's do this together if there is that need. Or like you said, best case scenario, they're hitting tremendous goals, they're doing amazing things, and now I can recognize my team for what they're doing. Again, it's all about this Tagachi, about doing it together, being a sponsor, being the support system, and I love just how everything is just measurable by numbers. And I can tell you, I mean, over the years, I've just received so many calls and so many questions always about, like, I want to be the best sponsor I can be, but how do I know what to do? And if they're, you know, how do I coach people, and how do I know how they're doing? And so it has never been so live, so real, so immediate to know exactly how I can be a better sponsor and upline to my downline. So this is an incredible revolutionary tool.
Absolutely. That's right on right there. I mean, we're just seeing this as really the heart of the term Tagachi. We talked about doing everything all together. And that's what MLM is about. That's what network marketing is about. It's about doing things together and making sure the word gets out and your teams build together. And I like the idea that we get to take a lot of the BS off the table. I think sometimes egos get involved when we're building. And when you have the numbers right in front of you and both of you can kind of come together as, you know, professionals and really work out a solution, sometimes you're going to see people are doing great, a number of activities, but they're just not getting their results. And now the focus shifts from doing a certain number of activities to maybe increasing the quality of those activities. And that's what a sponsor is there for, is to help coach that person into becoming a better business person. And now it's not just about the business anymore. It's about the people that are being sponsored and really enriching and growing them as networkers.
It is, absolutely. It's all about, you know, like you just said, it's about growing together. It's about relationships. It's about moving forwards together. So one more time, we talked about this a little bit earlier. If I'm excited now, I want to get into this app, I want to start implementing, where do I go to get this app?
Right. So right now you can go into the eXfuze back office. When you log in, there's a nice fancy banner right at the top that tells you where you can download the app. When you click on that, it'll open up the purchase form. after you purchase the app, you'll get a download link in your email. Again, just the caveat is just make sure your back office email is the one that you're going to receive an email on, that it's not an old or antiquated, unusable email. But we'll send you an email with the invitation to download it. And then when you download it, you're going to log in with your eXfuze back office credentials, and boom, you're off to the races.
Fantastic. So I know that you and your team have been putting together some videos of different scenarios and different. So just run us through what scenario we're going to talk about here today, and before we hop into that video.
Yeah, so we're going to walk through a number of scenarios, and keep in mind, we're talking to eXfuze distributors when we're coming up with these scenarios. We're talking to some of the top distributors and sitting down with them and saying, what is your process to grow your team? And the first video that we put together is what we call day one. And the idea here is we talked to a very specific, very successful top distributor, and I won't say his name because I don't want to embarrass him, but we sat down and he said, the first thing I do is we build our list of 10 and we start calling them. And I said, that's an amazing scenario. That's very fundamental and basic. Everybody can get that. Let's build a video about how Tagachi fits into that. So that's what we're going to be watching right now.
I love that. And I love the fact that you have both brought structure to this process, but at the same time that you're allowing so much flexibility where leaders, if they have a system that they want to implement with their teams, that it also allows the flexibility, right? So it's giving structure while allowing people to be very flexible in what they're doing. So I love that mix. And before we hop into this video, I want to say thank you for all the viewers and the listeners on today's broadcast. This has been exciting. Thank you so much, Ken, for being here. And so this is Nic and Ken signing out for today. Good night.
So now you have Tagachi, but you're not sure what to expect. Why don't we walk through together as if we're brand new distributors? On day one, our first order of business is to build our contact list. Then we need to start making some phone calls. Let's see how Tagachi will help us stay focused, keep organized, and manage our success. When we first download Tagachi, we need to accept the end user license agreement. Now the app is going to help us build our contact list. In the app, our contact list is called a focus list because these are the people we need to focus on first. We can skip this step, but really we want to get off on the right foot. The app taps into our device's phone book and shows us everyone we know. This is called our extended network. We want to find 10 people to move from our extended network into our focus list. The goal is to choose the 10 people we feel are most likely to become distributors. From our extended network, we can click on the name or picture of a person's contact card to view his or her details. We click the back arrow to return to our extended network. Clicking the plus sign on the right side of each contact card will move them to our focus list. Let's add 10 now. Great, now we've added 10 people to our focus list and we're ready to start calling them. From now on, when we open Tagachi, the first thing we'll see is this screen. This is our progress screen. Progress is where we can see how close we are to making the next rank. We can see our current pay rank as of the last close of business. We can also see our qualified pay rank, which tells us that if nothing else changes between now and the next close of business, our qualified pay rank will become our current pay rank after the next close of business. Now we know what we need to do if we want to make a specific rank to meet our goals. Anyway, we've got more important things to do. We've got some phone calls to make. For this, we need to prospect. We do this by clicking the navigation button on the top left corner of the app and selecting Prospect. This is our prospect dashboard. As we use Tagachi more, this screen will help us prioritize our follow-ups and manage our prospecting activity. For now, let's go to our focus list. We can do that in two ways. We can click the focus list icon in the top right-hand corner of the screen, or when our task list is empty, we can click the button in the middle of our prospect dashboard labeled View Focus List. Let's click the focus list icon in the top right-hand corner. Here we can see that we have 10 contacts in our focus list. They got here during our setup process. Tagachi is encouraging us to add more. We can see in the bottom right-hand corner there's a progress bar indicating that we have 10 out of 100 contacts in our focus list. After these first few calls, we really should take some time to add more people to this list and try to keep it full at all times. The message button on the right side of each contact card is where we can send predefined messages via SMS or email. That aside, let's look at the first contact's details. We do this by clicking the name or picture of the person on the contact card. Let's look at John Smith. Here we see John's contact details and our interaction history with him. It's time to finally make that call. We just need to click the phone icon next to John's phone number. This will initiate a call with him. When we're done with our call and we return to Tagachi, we'll see that we now have a new interaction in the history for the call we just initiated. We should probably add a note documenting how the call went. We can do this by clicking the Add Note button. Great, we've started making calls. We'll do that 9 more times while we've got momentum. Next, we need to work on building up our focus list to 100 contacts. So that's it. We've started our focus list and we've made some phone calls. We've got some good momentum going. Now it's your turn. Hop into Tagachi, log in with your back office credentials, and get to work. Remember, every month we'll be adding new features to Tagachi to help you stay focused, keep organized, and manage your success. So here's to your success. Tagachi out.